because you will fail so much and you will learn so much and you will like start knowing things that you like that were not part of your language and now it is.
If I wanted to go ahead and start my game dev journey, starting from scratch, from zero again, and be a content creator, right? Now that I understand that this is not an individual journey, you know, like what should be the first steps I should take?
I think if you're trying to be a content creator, I think I had a teacher in my Brazilian university that used to tell us that we don't understand our concepts as much as we do think we do. So like, oh, I'm going to make this video. I know exactly how it's going to be structured. Like it's here, right? That's not how it works, right? Because as soon as you even write things down on a paper, you notice that some systems have to be created in order to transmit like some sort of information. And so for if you want to make like content, just try to start making it. Planning, of course, is extremely important to like how things are made, but just open a Premiere, an iMovie project or whatever, and just do one. And I honestly was not like this, right? I don't think I am till this day, but I always try to remember of this, my first friend that said like, just post it. I don't know, just do it, right? Yeah. So doesn't matter if your microphone is not great, you know, of course that counts into the quality, but you will learn those things. And even if you're founded afterwards, like Patreon wise, you'll have resources to buy these things. I don't know, like something like that. And for game development specifically is, right now is the best time, I guess, to like learn, right? Compared to, I don't know how long ago. I'm not, you know, I'm also part of this generation was like, it's easy to learn online, and very quotes on easy, because I feel like the big important step for game dev, I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's hard. I think the part which is like complicated is that barrier. When I did not know anything about game development, I would look into a game, into my TV screen and think like, I don't even know how to get started with this. Like, this is something for like straight up like gods, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think if you consume a lot of content that are behind the scenes, right? Like stuff. Yeah. Even from Mark Brown, honestly, that I was mentioning before, like it's a little bit of background, right? It's a little bit of like how things are made. Or even like the Boundary Break YouTube channel where like they take the camera and they go inside games and you see that developers are doing like these like janky like Frankenstein things to make things work. Yeah. But they work, and somehow that can inspire you. And I guess the last thing, right? Like if that helps you break your barrier and you like found motivation to buy a course, right? Like buy a course or follow a tutorial completely, then what I would say next is something my teacher from the exchange program said to me, and he did like a slide. Actually, he said this to all the students, and we thought this is going to be this big ass slide about like how game design and game development. And the first slide was like, do you want to make good games? And the second slide was make games every day. And then he ended up, and then the rest of the class was just a conversation. Like the big ass slide that everyone thought it was going to be, it was just like, hey, you want to be a good game developer, just make games every day. Yeah. And what he meant by that is like, not make full-fledged games every day. He meant like, try to make things every day. Not every day, of course, but like, what? But then again, let's deconstruct that why. Because you will fail so much, and you will learn so much, and you will like start knowing things that you like that were not part of your language, and now it is, right? Like I had no idea like how to explicitly explain what is a shader, what is a script, what is a ambient occlusion, right? But the more you get in touch with these things and the more you fail, and that's why I think game jams are like the key for anyone who wants to work with games in any aspect, code, audio, whatever. Because in game jams you have that short burst experience of everything that the industry has in a weekend, more simplified, and not doesn't have the consequences maybe that the industry might have of like failing and stuff if you're actually working on it. But it's almost like an internship, right? Like an intensive like weekend internship.
That's true.
And so I mean, like, go to game jams. Like, honestly, like every game jam that you find, physical after Corona, of course, and then online, just go to game jams because you will. And I did fail so bad. My first games, I think some games I do now suck, right? But I guess it's important to just always be aware that, like, even if you go to a game jam and you feel frustrated, because that happens, you go to a game jam and in the second day you'd already notice that like it's a train wreck. Normally you would feel down, and that happens. I understand that happens to me all the time, but you have to take the time and perceive it differently. It's not about the result. It's about like what you're learning on the way, right?
Yep.
It's like what you're learning, right?
Yep. It's all about the process again.
Yeah, it's all about the process, and and like make games every day. And